Separated by I-40 from Knoxville to Nashville, the Tennessee Lady Vols arrive in Music City on a hot streak. 3-0 in SEC play, taking on a Vanderbilt team still in search of their first conference win of the season. Hi, everyone, and welcome alongside Brooke Weisbrod. I'm John Brickley. Great to have you with us. Brooke, the expectations that we all had for this Lady Vols program starting to come to fruition, if you will. A Lady Vols team that, after a gauntlet of a non-conference early schedule, give us your sense of a state of the union for Tennessee now that we're in the midst of conference play.
Well, any team that puts together the type of schedule that Tennessee does, I have so much respect for, because I think it pays off at the end of the season. And now we're starting to see the pieces come together. You've got Rickea Jackson and Jordan Horson, probably one of the most dangerous combos in the SEC, playing well together. And when we talk about Jordan Horson, this is a player since high school, seeing her at the McDonald's All-American game. Keep your eye on her. She's a first-round draft pick. She is going to be a major impact player at the next level. But for now, the Tennessee Lady Vols get to have her, and what a performance she put on Thursday night against Mississippi State. Big-time minutes, points, rebounds, assists, contributing in every facet, and you will not have to look any further than number 11, Kaija Harbison, on Vanderbilt squad to give you everything, literally everything that's been asked of her. She's come through. The transfer from St. Louis, leading the SEC in assists per game, second in points, putting up major minutes, 38, 39 minutes. Look what she did at Ole Miss, and that is a hard team to score against. So big-time athleticism from Harbison. Do they have the numbers to put together a win today?
Harbison also had 27 points in the loss to LSU. Let's take a look at this rivalry that's been one-sided in favor of Tennessee. You have to go all the way back to 2013, 2014, the last time that Vandy won inside Memorial Gymnasium versus the Lady Vols. But this is a historic rivalry between these two programs. Tennessee in their road orange, and Vanderbilt in their home gold, and it's Tennessee that wins the opening tip as we are underway in Nashville. Tennessee 11-6 on the season, 3-0 in SEC play.
And that's what you're going to see, John, is that aggressive zone from Vanderbilt. When you don't have a lot of numbers, you want to save your energy. So zone is one way to do it.
Vanderbilt starting lineup. Gerard, the transfer from BC, number 1 in 3 points made this season in the SEC, along with Brown, Chambers, and Washington. A limited roster due to injuries, which we'll touch upon for Vanderbilt. As Harbison with the drive off the glass, and Washington there for a second chance.
Washington's going to have to do work and then some on the board today. You had brought up the point of how dominant Tennessee is of a team on the glass, and meanwhile Vanderbilt has really struggled this year. So Washington's got her game cut out for her today.
A Vanderbilt team that is minus 4.5 in rebounds in SEC play. However, the drive by Harbison, and Vanderbilt on the board first. Starting five for Tennessee. Brooke, you touched upon Jordan Horston, who was recently named to the Wooden Award midseason top 25 list. Also Tess Darby, one of the top 3-point shooters for Tennessee. And let's not forget the always dangerous Rickea Jackson coming off the bench as Striplin gets the first 2 points for the Lady Vols.
Even when you don't have a key player like Tamari Key, who's out, of course, you still are able to reload with that size. And so Tennessee's really had to look down the roster and get some good productive minutes. And that's what Coach had to say. It's not just Rickea Jackson and Jordan Horson. There's a lot of players who fulfill great roles for them. Give them that 3-0 start.
Foul that goes against Tennessee. Kelly Harper in her 4th season as the head coach for Tennessee after last year's run to the Sweet 16. Just recently coached her 600th career game versus Mississippi State back on Thursday. A win today, and she'll pick up her 75th victory with Tennessee. As Chambers off the mark. Horston works it into the low post. Striplin, great feed on the run as Puckett could not convert, and a foul that goes against Tennessee. Coach Shea Ralph in her 2nd season with Vanderbilt after a long stint as an assistant at UConn. Won 6 national titles as an assistant with the Huskies and a national championship for UConn back in 2000 against who else? Tennessee. And you could just see in our conversations yesterday, anytime you mention Tennessee, Coach Ralph's eyes and ears perked up.
Man, right? Well, I mean, John, you were right there with me. That was our heyday, our college days. And I remember, prepping for my game days, watching those two play, and it was must-see TV. They were superstars.
One of the greatest rivalries, if not the greatest rivalry in women's basketball. As that one off the foot of Darby and a forced turnover by Vanderbilt. And this is what Coach Ralph talked about, coming out with a quick 1-2 punch. We've seen this time and time again for a shortened rostered Vanderbilt team. They've got good first quarters in them.
Shea Ralph was a relentless player, and that's the way that she described her game. It's the way that she described Coach Kelly Harper's game as well. And that's the way that her players, they give off that same energy on the floor. And so they'll go until they have nothing left in the tank. And Harbison, who's a transfer, has put up 35 minutes plus since she was a freshman. So there's really not a lot of game situations that are going to rattle her. It's just how much can you give?
Harbison second in the SEC in scoring at just under 19 points. That one rattled in and out. Darby with the rebound for Tennessee. Rickea Jackson, 2 in orange, into the game for the first time off the bench. Jordan Walker with the missed 3. Tennessee 1 of 6 from the floor to begin this game. Harbison spots up for 3. Back ironed it, and there's Darby once again with a rebound.
All right, you get a sense of just how Tennessee gets you on the boards. It's one and done for Vanderbilt, so they've got to try to get some quality shots. Meanwhile, the interior passing for Tennessee has been spot on early in this game.
Jackson able to find Striplin, who's got all 4 points for Tennessee, as we're 4 minutes into this first quarter. Gerard, the BC transfer, misfires, and Vanderbilt has come up empty on back-to-back possessions and a foul.
Vanderbilt getting quick shots, early shots, but they're good shots. All right, the ball fake, you're getting some separation and those open looks. You hope that they start falling, because what you don't want to feel like you're doing if you're Vanderbilt is having to dig yourself out of the hole right away in that first quarter. You've got this energy. If you can create a few deflections, get some early layups, that'll keep your momentum going. And meanwhile, you can see Tennessee really trying to go inside. That was what Coach stressed to us. They want inside touches now on every possession.
You've got a height advantage with the likes of Jillian Hollingshed in there, 6'5", Jordan Horston at 6'2". No player for Vanderbilt is over 6'1", so that's why there's such a rebounding disparity over the first 3 games in conference play, where Vanderbilt's been out-rebounded by 22 a game in the first 3 games. Harbison lost the handle of it right into the hands of Walker.
Yeah, Walker read that crossover. Great bounce pass inside. Oh my goodness, hope she's all right. It was a big fall underneath. Terrific steal, first of all, and that bounce pass in the pocket. Quick ball fake. Rickea Jackson, she'll go to the line. I mean, for her to even keep her balance, she was kind of carrying, wow, she was carrying Washington for a few steps there.
You're going to see a lot of changes for Coach Shea Ralph with 8 on the roster as Washington takes a seat. Jackson on the year, an 84% free throw shooter, but I thought it was interesting what Kelly Harper said about Jackson coming off the bench. A nice weapon to have, and more importantly, she harped upon the fact that opponents are going to have to change their game plan once she gets into the game.
Yeah, how do you game plan for a player like Rickea Jackson, who, like Horston, has that great length, the athleticism, can play multiple positions, is just starting to hit her stride, getting into shape, really committing to defense. So that's what I'm saying. Tennessee is on the rise. Their stock's moving up.
Chambers off the miss as Vanderbilt has gone cold from the floor.
Oh,
Jackson on the other end. Quickly charging through is Harbison, and off the Acrobatic shot leads to a 3-on-2 in transition for the Lady Vols, and that one's taken away.
Well, I think this is a bit what we expected. You know, you described it as punchy basketball, and it at times can get, you know, a bit erratic when you have teams so committed to defense. You know, for Vanderbilt, again, they're just getting one shot. Look at the length of Tennessee bothering the guards and the pressure. How many deflections have we seen outside the three-point line?
Jackson with the short jumper. And there's Allen skying in for the rebound. Vanderbilt looking for some offense. They've gone 1 for their last 7. And yet trail only by 2. Here's Allen, top of the arc 3. That one rattles in and out.
Not a bad shot again, though, for Vanderbilt. I think if you're Coach Ralph, you see her down there encouraging her squad to keep their energy high. You're getting good shots. You're playing patient basketball on the offensive end. You know, doing what you can defensively. That's just a nice shot in the face of the defense.
Tess Darby, who is launching threes all season long for Tennessee. She came into this game 31 of her 39 made field goals from beyond the arc.
And she's really starting to find her rhythm, and what a great compliment, you know, for wanting to go inside now. That really stretches the defense to have a shooter like Darby.
Tennessee on a 7-0 run. Timeout on the floor coming up. Love and basketball. We'll explain. Back in Nashville, Tennessee, a 5-point lead on Vanderbilt. You see both head coaches, Kelly Harper and Shea Ralph. And it's a rarity in college basketball to see 2 head coaches with their spouses on the coaching staff. We thought we'd go a little bit deeper into the relationships. And let's start, Brooke, with Kelly and John Harper, married 23 years, will be 24 in May. And I love the pet peeve that John doesn't like to eat leftovers.
I'm with them on the chicken, though. Everything else, I'm down for leftovers, just not chicken.
And, of course, their favorite sports memory, making the Sweet 16 not only at Tennessee, but also at Missouri State. And for Shea Ralph, her husband, Tom Warwick, together been married 4.5 years. And their first date, almost the way that she explained it to us yesterday, they kind of recruited one another, but they've certainly had a great working relationship at Vanderbilt so far. And I love the biggest surprise that Tom's affinity is for interior design.
Got it. You listen. He is ready to go to the IKEAs, to the Ashley Furnitures, picking out the fabrics. You gotta love that attention to detail for Tom Garrick.
And Tom's affinity, especially, is for sectionals with cup holders in them, as we found out from Shea yesterday.
Yep. Great place to watch film.
Yeah, exactly. And for Tom Garrick, he's got some history with Vanderbilt. He was a former assistant before taking the head coaching job at UMass Lowell. And for John Harper, he's been on every stint with Kelly Harper, whether it be at NC State or Missouri State. So it's great to see that relationship between spouses, not only away from the basketball court, but on the floor as well.
Well, and naturally, I certainly love that it's ladies in the head coaching spot. You know, and that just says really something. And for the superstar players that they were, they are in such a great place at advancing the women's game and being the ones to do it. The coaches there, the players can respect them because they know they've been there. As Basak gets into the game, starts knocking down some shots from outside. But yeah, I mean, what the icons that they were as players, it's so great to continue the game and to look at someone like a Shea Ralph and like a Coach Harper who's won national championships. How could you not want to play for either one of them?
Yeah, Kelly Harper won 3 in the mid-90s from 96 through 98. Mentioned Shea Ralph won in 2000 against Tennessee. So it's great to see the rivalry really being renewed for both head coaches, as Walker with the dribble drive can't convert, as Tennessee right now has started to pull away early on with a 10-0 run.
Yeah, now the outside shooting for Tennessee is complementing those inside touches. So what do you do if you're Vanderbilt? Your zone is just continuing to get extended, but that's a nice answer. Washington has been really physical in the paint today.
4 points on 2 of 2 shooting for Washington to go along with her 3 rebounds. The lead cut down to 6 for Vanderbilt. Coming off the loss on Thursday against Ole Miss. Here's Tennessee's Hollingshed. Great footwork in the post, couldn't finish. And there is Washington with the rebound.
Oh, great defensive possession for Vanderbilt to stay straight up, box out, grab the basketball off that rebound, and they get paid off with a three.
Marnell Giroux, the Boston College transfer, 43 made threes on the season, coming off a 17-point performance back on Thursday against Ole Miss. Good ball movement as Jackson unable to convert. Hollingshed with the second chance will stay with Tennessee with 12 on the shot clock.
You see that zone for Vanderbilt collapsing once the ball gets inside. So they're doing what they can to be as physical with Tennessee, who, as you mentioned, outsizes is a much bigger team. They're just outsized Vanderbilt right now. So Vandy's just trying to play physical. They're doing that. They're trying to box out. So those fundamentals are there, and that's where great coaching, you can see it happening. It's just, again, it's
Tennessee,
difficult to box out on that zone.
Tennessee already with 5 offensive rebounds as Horston gets her first 2 points of the game.
She made that move look easy, and that is a pro move right there. Simple jab step, see what the defense gives you, and explode right to the bucket. Just so smooth.
Gerard trying to find Harbison, instead taken away by Powell. Coast to coast, count it, and the foul.
How did Jasmine Powell keep her balance on this entire play? She kept the ball in bounds, then basically ends up doing a reverse. You have to be incredibly strong. Again, more deflections for Tennessee. Wow, the speed, the finish, ending up on the other side of the bucket with the and-one. Great concentration.
Powell, the Minnesota transfer, learned from one of the best point guards of all time in Lindsay Whalen, bringing her talents to Rocky Top, and has been a focal point for Kelly Harper this season. That one swatted away as Chambers unable to convert. Here's Horston through a double team, finishes with the layup.
There is zero hesitation in Horston's game, and that's where you can really see her leveling up. She is so instinctual, but to get that ball and immediately charge, there was no room for error there. She made that play happen.
Good balanced scoring for Tennessee in this first quarter. 6 different players with a made field goal. And the first quarter comes to an end. Tennessee, expectations are high this year, especially in the SEC, controlling first quarter action against their rival Vanderbilt, up 18-9 at the end of 1. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, early matchup in this second quarter about to get underway. And Brooke, both teams having gone through some issues when it comes to injuries. Tennessee, especially to the start of the early portion of the season. But on the other side for Vanderbilt, Jordan Cambridge, Ayanna Moore, Kaylin Smith, all out with ACL injuries before the season even started. So really reshaping the focus for both of these programs.
It has been just a year of injuries across the board in women's college basketball. We're hearing story after story. So, our hearts go out to everybody, losing players left and right to injuries, the time missed, just the reshuffling of what that means emotionally for your team as well. And, it certainly was interesting talking to Shea Ralph, who, herself has such an interesting history of injuries with the 5 ACLs that she went through and recovered and continued to try to play the game. And, she's not someone who wants to talk about herself much, but what she did share about that was that she's able to, relate to players on that level and say, I've been there, it's going to get better, continue to show up, get to rehab, and to try to improve your team when you barely have enough players to practice. You really have to make the most of what you got. And she said, we're trying to make the most out of practice without making it 3 hours long, right? So that's more film, more mental approach when you have a short roster like that.
Cambridge would have been the starting point guard this year. As the 3 drops for Vanderbilt, that's a nice way to start off the second quarter. Moore was Vandy's second leading scorer last year, and Kaylin Smith, we found out just yesterday, has left the program. So it's been a reshuffling for Vanderbilt. And the other side for Tennessee, Tamari Key, a 4-year starter, all-time leader in blocks for this program, dealing with an issue that we found out early on, the discovery of blood clots in her lungs. She's going to make a full recovery. So again, we don't see the full impact in terms of what these teams would be if they were fully healthy.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, we're hearing just crazy stories. You know, UConn doesn't even have enough players to field a team. You know, they're putting games on hold for now. So it's really trying to restructure everything as Vanderbilt has found the long ball in this quarter here. That's Jada Brown for 3. They really needed that life, John.
Vanderbilt knocking down their last 3 field goals, all from beyond the arc, has got them within 5 as Jackson has been held in check so far. 2 points, 0 of 4 from the field in this first half.
And you see when the ball goes inside, there's a few players from Vandy that shade that area. It's not necessarily a trap or double triple team, but it's enough to cause some disruption in her shot.
Harbison gives it off to Washington with 8 on the shot clock. Horston was there on the defensive end for the Lady Vols. And a turnover leads to a Vanderbilt possession.
And also number 21, Tess Darby.
Tess Darby along with Carolyn Strickland back into the game for Tennessee. A win on Thursday against Mississippi State, Alabama, and Florida all in double figures. And note what Vanderbilt's offense has done after a 2 for 11 start from the field.
What's interesting too is they have yet to shoot a free throw in this game. You know, so they're getting a lot of outside looks. They're playing those fundamentals well. Jab step, ball fake, coming around the screen to get those looks. And you see, once they try to go inside, Tennessee's size, that's where it really bothers them.
Horston front iron that 3-ball attempt. Harbison quickly the other way. Mid-range jumper dropped for the St. Louis transfer. And look at this, Vanderbilt coming out hot in the second quarter, down by 3.
Commodores will not give up. This team will fight no matter how outmatched they feel or it looks on paper. They think mentally they are right there in this game, and you see it. And that's where you get with Harbison. Great inside pass. That's a tough catch, though. Vanderbilt ball. Another Tennessee turnover. That's going to key in this game as well, is Vanderbilt's ability to create turnovers. Good decision here. Look, I'm a big fan of the mid-range game. I always have been. You don't have to go into the defense, try to make contact, draw the foul. If you've got a shot there, 8 or 9 feet, pull up and take it. And Harbison did. Good decision.
Vanderbilt already forcing 5 Tennessee turnovers. That one partially blocked from behind on the shot attempt from Jada Brown, the freshman floor general. Horston quickly on the other end, and Strickland having herself a game so far, 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting.
I like Strickland's awareness. You see how communicative she is out there, pointing, talking, and she's so heads up when she's charging at the paint that you can give her a quick tip pass like Horston did, and she can finish.
Allen can't respond with the 3. The dynamic duo of Horston and Rakia Jackson held to just 4 points in this first half, but it's the reserves playing a huge key, including 3-point sharpshooter Tess Darby.
Darby, 2 of 2 from behind the line in 9 minutes of play, a couple of rebounds. Talk about efficiency. Love to see that.
The first player ever signed by Kelly Harper, has been one of the top 3-point specialists this year in the conference. And a reach-in foul on the other end against Vanderbilt. The rod will be called for the foul.
Well, look how well Tennessee inside, and Franklin is holding off the defender. And again, you know, we have a graphic in the waiting for you guys about a wingspan, and that right there just shows you when you have a large post and somebody with that kind of length. Harbison gets out, gets a freebie for Vandy, almost a freebie, I should say.
Chambers with the second chance, puts it up, and Vanderbilt striking once again within 6 as we approach the 5.5 mark of the first half. Horston, a very versatile player at the point, gives it off to Franklin, who's met by contact by Allen.
So also, too, you get to save fouls when you play a zone. And neither team having too many issues today with fouls at all. And Vanderbilt has yet to shoot a free throw in this game.
Here's Jasmine Franklin. Came over from Missouri State, played under Kelly Harper there. Then the size difference dramatically in favor of Tennessee as Franklin knocks down 1 of 2. And you have to wonder just the challenges, Brooke, that Shea Ralph has to undergo with a limited roster of 8, the managing of the minutes. Because, of course, with that, fatigue becomes a huge issue once we get into the second half for a team like this.
Well, and not only physical fatigue, but, you know, mentally, as the season goes on and you're playing in one of, if not the most physical conference in the country. So you're having to really be fulfilling these players in a lot of different areas and needs in their life. So, yeah, you're asking a lot out of a short roster.
Rod working with 5 left on the shot clock. Top of the arc, nothing but net on that 3 ball. Out of bounds will stay with Tennessee with 23 on the shot clock. As Debbie Washington with her first touches. Leads us to a timeout. Vanderbilt with a very productive second quarter within striking distance, down 4 to Tennessee.
Sunday to y'all. Peter Burns, Steffi Sorensen. Coming up, we'll show you South Carolina on the ropes against Mississippi State. Great game between Georgia and Florida. But what are you seeing right here between Lady Vols and the Door?
You know, Tennessee got a lot of depth, so we're seeing that. Tess Darby, Caroline Strickland doing her thing, but so much grit and toughness from Vanderbilt, shooting a 3-ball really well. What you expect from a Shea Ralph team?
John, bro.
Burnsy, Steffi, looking forward to that. And how about South Carolina being tested this afternoon? The #1 team, defending champs.
Well, that gives you an idea of what the SEC is, right? So I love it because I feel like confidence is up and down the conference, you know, and we're seeing it on display here too. You heard Steffi Sorensen just talk about the grit and the toughness of Vanderbilt. You know, they are a team that is low on numbers and they know what they're up against. Not only just the talent, but the history and all of the rivalry that comes with playing a team like Tennessee, who ended the first quarter on that 6-0 run. But since then, again, then the outside shooting of Vanderbilt gotten them back in this game. Tess Darby knocking it down out from the outside for Tennessee, doing her thing.
Gerard has been the leading scorer for both teams, 9 points, as Shea Ralph, who one of the great conversations we've had with coaches yesterday, was very honest, very vocal about her team and what she hopes to instill from her time at UConn into this Vanderbilt program. And she's got her team fighting in this second quarter, only down by 4, as Horston out of the timeout can't get the mid-range jumper to fall. And another offensive rebound and a fresh 20 for the Lady Vols. Horston with another touch down low to Strickland, who's having herself a productive first half. 8 points for the sophomore.
What a great offensive possession for Tennessee. That was just beautiful passing, ball work, teamwork. Went back inside. Other side, coaches always talk about trying to go inside and out, but that hit, not only that, it went from left to right and back inside.
Strickland's season high is 10. She's already got 8 in this first half.
So coach wanted touches inside. Strickland kicks it cross court. He makes it all the way around. Darby inside. Don't like the shot you want. Kick it cross court again. Patience. Horston. Dish. Assist. Beautiful. Like less dribbles, more passing. Every coach wants to see that. What a great play.
4 on the shot clock. Harbison had to force one up. Horston there for the rebound. Jackson gives it off as Darby off the miss. There's Strickland with the offensive rebound and the second chance, and that's been the story so far in this game for Tennessee.
Strickland's been the hero today. She's so smooth when she gets the basketball. It's that quick, just grabs the board, hands her up, puts it right back off the glass.
Tennessee with a +9 advantage on the boards. Darby there with the rebound. Tennessee has built up an 8-point lead. despite the fact that Rickea Jackson's been a non-factor, just 2 points on 0 of 5 shooting. Make that now 0 of 6 from the floor.
Yeah, she don't need to take a fadeaway shot. She can get a much better shot going toward the basket. Oh my goodness, what a tough finish. The strength and concentration that must have taken from Harbison to finish left-handed.
Gets Vanderbilt within 6 as we are under 3 minutes in this first half. Great vision by Horston to find Jackson with her first field goal made.
How easy did Horston make that pass look? I mean, that was just quick placement, like little QB. I have no terminology on football I can throw in there, but it sounds like a 10-yard slant. How does that sound?
I like it.
All right.
As that one on an answer on the other end from Harbison, who has been carrying this Vanderbilt team in the latter stages.
The toll that physically the games must take on her body, because she's been playing over 35 minutes since she was a freshman, and now she's in the SEC. But man, she is up for that challenge, and you don't see her ever get tired. Incredible mindset, and so again, played for Coach Ralph. He never would let, she just wouldn't let up. And she said the same thing. She was talking about the good old days and those UConn-Tennessee rivalries, talking about Coach Harper. She said that was the one thing. I was a smart player and a strong player. But Kelly Jolly, as she was back then, was equally right there.
High praise from both coaches in our conversations this week. As Striplin, offensive rebound, no, second chance with Jackson flying in off the board.
And I like how Jackson's looking for her points around the bucket and glass. She does not need to fade away in this game. She can get any look she wants. But here, Coach, you got to be more disciplined with your offense. Say, hey, let's get exactly the looks we want now that we have the lead.
Offensive foul against Vanderbilt. I thought it was interesting in preparation for this game that Rickea, with all the accolades that she had in her 3 years at Mississippi State, was never an SEC Player of the Week. Picked that up this past week after her performances over Alabama and Florida. And again, what a weapon that Kelly Harper has at her disposal to come off the bench. Not to be in the starting 5, but coming off the bench for Tennessee.
And that takes a lot of humility for a player like Rickea Jackson, who was McDonald's All-American, very well known coming into college, and you have to really just take that humble approach when you go to a program like Tennessee and all that history. So she's found her role, though. I think coming off the bench has been good for her, and you obviously see, the results starting to really pile up, shooting a very high percentage lately.
Vanderbilt keeping it close, down by 7, still in search of their first conference win of the season. A misconnection as Bella LaChance trying to get a bounce pass inside to Washington. 3 left on the shot clock, and a sloppy possession for Vanderbilt. Jackson taking it herself, and we'll have a couple of free throws coming up.
Yeah, you said it, a sloppy and lost possession for Vanderbilt. They got a little too rushed when there was a shot available, but it leads to a fast break opportunity for Tennessee.
And coming up Tuesday night, college basketball doubleheader. KJ Williams will lead LSU against Colin Castleton and Florida in our first game at 7 Eastern, and then it's off to Knoxville. Number 8 Tennessee will host Vandy. It's going to be a great night of hoops on the SEC Network. You can also catch it on the ESPN app. Jackson knocking down 1 of 2. By the way, the last time that she faced Vandy as a freshman with Mississippi State was held to 8 points in that game. Right now, 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting for Jackson as we're under a minute to go. Great defense by Tess Darby, forcing the turnover.
Saw how just aggressive Darby guarded off of that screen, really forced her to stay on that side of the floor, giving up no middle.
Horston back into the game for the final 30 seconds of this first half. Powell calling for it. Skip pass from Darby, left open for three is Powell.
She said, I'm feeling it.
Kelly Harper says she runs the show. That bench for Tennessee right now has been the big difference maker, as Washington with the left hand with an answer.
Good
and
move.
That is how the first half comes to an end. Tennessee set the tone early. Vanderbilt had a good second quarter, but it's the Lady Vols with a 38-29 lead at the break. As we get you back to the studio, Peter Burns and Steffi Sorensen, take it away. Back in Nashville, about to get the third quarter started. Tennessee with a lead on Vanderbilt, looking to wrap up their fifth straight win. And Brooke, when we dissect this first half that we saw, that combo of Rickea Jackson and Jordan Horston combined for 11 points, and yet Tennessee still has a 9-point lead. Why is that?
Well, Tennessee was able to get really balanced scoring, I thought. You know, the inside touches, the outside threes to really just give Tennessee a full balanced attack. It's no surprise to me that they have not only points in the paint, 22 of them, but they've also shot 4 of 9 from behind the line. This is just great spacing, patience, execution on offense against the zone defense for Tennessee. Getting great shots inside and just being so unselfish. 8 assists on 15 field goals so far for the Lady Vols. Only problem with them really has just been a few sloppy turnovers, 7 of them. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt, behind the strength of Harbison and her 9 points, they have had to work for every shot they get, but I love the fact that she's playing downhill, trying to fight through traffic, still taking that contact and finishing.
And look at the big number for Tennessee in that first half, bench points, 18-0 over Vanderbilt, plus a plus 12 in the rebounding category for the Lady Vols. And yet Vanderbilt, despite the shortened roster due to injuries, has fought their way back in that second quarter. It'll be Tennessee to open up the third. Horston, who was held to 4 points in the first half. Jordan Walker spots up and knocks down the three.
And because Jordan Horston is in the paint, so active, she's sucking in a lot of the defensive players right there into that paint with her. So that's going to give you those open three-point looks.
By the way, Walker is right now pursuing a second master's degree.
Wow. I mean, not even just a regular degree, but a master's degree and then another master's degree. She's going to be doctor before she leaves there.
Washington with 3 Lady Vol defenders somehow finishes with the left hand. 8 points for Washington, and Vanderbilt down by 10. Here's Horston. Great feed on the bounce pass to Walker.
Yeah, you just see Horston and point guard vision in a power forward, 1 through 4 type of basketball body. She's so positionless. That's why I think she's one of the top players in the country that's going to do well at the next level.
By the way, Horston might not be putting up the numbers in terms of points, only 4 so far, but she's got 6 assists. So she's certainly sharing the basketball. As Harbison in the double figures with 11 off that made basket.
Good hands. Vandy getting themselves an extra shot, a rare one at that. Not too many offensive rebounds today, just the 4th for the Commodores. And Horston says, yeah, I'm going to pull up right there. Shot not exactly fallen for Jordan Horston today, but as you mentioned, she's got her hands involved in the offense. 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 points. I certainly know she can catch fire in a hurry.
Harbison with the jump shot, no. And a fight as Chambers lets that one out of bounds. We'll stay with Vanderbilt with 11 on the shot clock. Gerard looking to feed it to Washington in front, down to 5 on the shot clock. Harbison's got to work it in the lane. Tries to get the right-hand finish. And it will go to Tennessee on possession.
But again, the shot clock running down, you put the ball in the hands of the Vandy players, and I have not seen them panic one time. You know, and that's a building block for your offense. Again, when you don't have a full roster, what you do have, again, you're making the most out of. You're putting yourself in great position to get the score, taking good shots. As soon as they start falling for the Commodores, they get but more players, expect more wins.
And looking ahead, a women's basketball doubleheader coming up on Thursday. It's going to be a great one. We're going to see Angel Reese, an undefeated LSU, in Missouri to take on Haley Frank and the 14-2 Missouri Tigers. That's going to be followed by Tennessee and Texas A&M in the 9 o'clock hour right here on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. I mean, what a season Angel Reese is having. A double-double machine, certainly in contention for the SEC Player of the Year.
Putting up National Player of the Year. Not only SEC Player of the Year, but she's making a strong conversation for National Player of the Year. And hats off to LSU, 15-0 start. First time since the days of Simone Augustus. So it's exciting. You know, I love it in a big picture sense for women's basketball, because I think when LSU was good, it's a city like how Knoxville is with Tennessee. People show up, they represent, it's fanfare, it's game day. And so for LSU to be good is great for the game.
They're going to call a blocking foul against Walker. South Carolina, LSU, and Ohio State, the last 3 undefeated teams. We just recently saw Utah and St. John's fall.
Oh boy,
but it makes the SEC tournament certainly interesting, no doubt about it, with the type of talent and depth that we have seen 1 through 14 in this conference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you know, of course, you can't say, you know, college environments without thinking about Colonial Life and what Coach Staley has built. With Gamecock and Fam Nation there. Whew. Intimidating places to play in the SEC. Good luck on the road. And Rakia Jackson trying to fight through a screen. This game has stayed physical. It's been fun to watch and call.
Washington splitting a double team.
Yeah.
Looked for some help to Brown, but turned the ball over. That's going to be the 8th turnover against Vanderbilt.
And a great double and triple team there. Quick for Tennessee. Washington had no outlet.
I thought it was interesting in our conversations with Shea Ralph that she still gets texts from Gino from time to time. And more importantly, the biggest lesson that she took away from being with UConn is we're not going to change it. We're going to let them figure it out, being the players.
Yeah.
Darby rattled down a 3.
Well, it's informational learning versus transformative learning. And you can tell somebody something all day long, but they are not going to change just because you tell them to. You know, they have to experience it and see what it feels like. And that's something that, you know, watching Coach Auriemma for so many years at practices, hearing him in press conferences, he plants the right seeds for players to get it themselves. And that's one thing you really like to see, because then the players have ownership. And that's what Shea Ralph really liked about the program, and use that word ownership back to her recruiting days. And I love the story, I'll tell it quickly, about how she said she decided on UConn because Gino said, if you're no good, if you suck, you're not going to play. And he kept it so real. That's what made the decision for her. I loved it.
Jackson with the fadeaway, just barely touches the front iron. Horston there for a second chance. Can't get it to drop, but a whistle. By the way, I always find the Gino story funny when he talks about new players coming in thinking they own something, and he always says to them, I have 11 national championships. You have nothing.
Well, man, you think about the history of what, not only UConn, but Tennessee. I mean, they are headed toward that national championship game again. The leadership is there. The players are coming in place. And again, this is without someone like a Tamari Key, who would make a huge impact. And this team would easily be top 10 with her in the lineup.
Well, they were preseason number 5. Right now, number 1 in terms of strength of schedule. Number 16 in the net. And when you talk about UConn and Tennessee, those two teams are going to meet up on the schedule coming up on the 26th of this month. Urad with a beautiful 15-foot jumper that drops for her. She's got 11 to join Harbison in double figures.
She's really stepped out in this game. I've been impressed with her ability to move without the basketball, to get open shots, and then when she does, she can create them on her own. There's the nice stroke from Horston.
Horston with 7 points. Tennessee has stretched the lead out to 14, largest of the game. Turnover in the paint into the hands of Darby. Darby's made a couple of nice defensive plays in this game for Vanderbilt, or excuse me, for Tennessee, as Jackson knocks down the jumper to have 9 points.
Yeah, you're right, though. Darby has gotten her hands in the lane with deflections, and you could really look down the bench and the line for Tennessee and how many players have been involved defensively today.
Darby's going to get called with the foul. That leads us to a timeout. Tennessee has owned this rivalry over Vanderbilt. Right now, Kelly Harper and company up big on the doors. Kelly Harper and Shea Ralph know this Tennessee-UConn rivalry so well because they played in it, most notably January 10th, 1999, a game in which Tennessee ended UConn's 54-game home win streak, and it was a game that Tennessee certainly would propel themselves versus the Huskies, one of many in the great rivalry, Brooke, between these two historic programs.
Was that the game that Shea Ralph said she allowed Samika Randall to slip the screen, and it replays over and over and over in her mind all the time? I understand those moments. You go back and you think, had I just armbarred, not let her slip the screen. But yeah, these games were so epic, and it was so exciting to be, again, in college at that time to watch these two ladies go at it in these programs, because you felt how big the game was, from coaches to players and what it meant. I mean, the attitudes, the swag, the Meeks, the history of the Meeks. Kelly Jolly is a player, and on UConn side, of course, Tarazi Bird, Shea Ralph, Rebecca Lobo. The icons in our game who are still leading the charge and growing it today as we speak. So glad to see everybody, I just mentioned, still involved. And Tarazi's still playing. I think she's going to play until she's like 50.
By the way, going back to that game between Harper and Shea, Michael Buffer did the introductions at that game. And more importantly, which I thought was fascinating, there were scalpers outside that game trying to get $1,000 for that ticket for Tennessee and UConn. That's how popular that rivalry was.
I'd love to hear it.
Kelly Harper, of course, who won 3 straight national championships with Pat Summitt. Shea Ralph winning 1 in 2000 for the Huskies against Tennessee. Here's Jackson in the lane. Gets fouled. Will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, you mentioned what a matchup problem it is for Rickea Jackson, who got that ball, was able to put it on the floor, use her length and strength to get to the rim, and you could see the moves are there. There's so much talent and there's so much potential, and what I see is that the more reps she gets, especially handling the basketball, that's going to get tighter. Those dribbles are going to get harder pounds going to the rim. Right now, it's hard to guard her, and she needs to get better control of the basketball, if I'm making sense.
Well, I think also it's a credit to her that she's embraced that role coming off the bench rather than being a starter as she was in her 3 years at Mississippi State. As the 3-ball dropped for Harbison, and Vanderbilt making a charge in this third quarter.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, again, they are not going to go away. They're going to continue to play physical and play tough until their last bit of energy runs out. Even the double team down low. So tough. Keeping Tennessee off the glass. Already a 29-18 disparity in rebounds.
All right, and Friday Night Heights comes your way. 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to see a top 20 matchup between number 20 Georgia and number 9 Missouri. That's going to be followed by number 7 Alabama taking on 15th ranked Arkansas at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can check it out Friday nights on the SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Tennessee has had much more opportunities at the line compared to Vanderbilt in this game as Bell LaChance knifing through that Tennessee defense.
Yeah, Vandy could get some scores, deflections and score themselves. You see how active their defense is. They got a lot of energy still here in this third quarter. Yeah, if they get deflection steals, just score a few buckets in transition, complement it with the 3, they'll be right back in this game. 14 points can disappear quick, especially when you're playing quarters nowadays. I love it. I think it really, I don't know what the men's game is doing. They need to get on board, but quarters is where it's at.
I'm with you. It's certainly revolutionized the women's game as Harbison with a short jumper in the paint. She's been having herself a game today. The leading scorer for Vanderbilt, second in the SEC. Right now has 16 points to lead the way. Rimmed in and out by Jackson, but there once again with an offensive rebound and a putback. Tennessee with an answer and has extended this lead out to 56-42.
And as much pressure as the Vanderbilt guards are putting on Tennessee's guards, the spacing in which the Lady Vols are able to just spread out that zone, that's why the offensive putback was right there. Vandy is as aggressive as they can play with that zone defense. The guards are doing a good job pressuring. It's just Tennessee makes it too big. It's hard to keep up.
Timeout taken on the floor. Tennessee still up double digits on their rival Vanderbilt. John Brickley alongside Brooke Weisbrod. 2:31 left to go in the third quarter between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. In the light of the situation that happened this past Monday in Cincinnati between the Bills and the Bengals, we want to give a certain shout out to some of our first responders, just as we saw with the DeMar Hamlin situation with Bills trainer, athletic trainer, Denny Kellington, Allison Shepard, Vanderbilt trainer, along with Cassie Daly, the Tennessee trainer that you just saw moments ago, and the Vanderbilt Life Flight led by Russell Wilson and Patrick Vandeven. Really want to thank all those individuals for the support and help that they give each and every time to the players and the coaches. Really just understates what their role is for both of these programs.
And you're right, and not enough acknowledgement, I think, across the board. Just they always have to stay ready and be ready in a moment like that, and to look back at what happened during that game, and the teamwork, the coordination, just the ability for everybody to really work together and save DeMar Hamlin's life in that moment. The prayers, I mean, we really felt the sports world be rocked and shocked by that. So I think a great time to look back and say thank you so much to all the first responders that were there ready and just jumped in, not only to save his life, but as we've seen across college sports, how serious things can get in a heartbeat. And so it's just an amazing feat for them to be ready in those moments, and just very grateful to have such great knowledge around these players to take care of them.
We're going to have an official review, and it's going to be a quick look at that last play that we just saw. Bella LaChance, 21 in gold for Vanderbilt.
Now you see LaChance trying to get around Tennessee and just getting her elbows caught up there. I can't imagine that was anything, obviously intentional. It just looked like she was trying to create some space. Her arms got tangled here. But I was looking for elbow contact above the shoulders. That's a big indication. Excessive and unnecessary are the key words. I don't think those fit either one of those categories.
All right, so the official review is ended. It'll be Tennessee basketball with 2:22 left to go in this third quarter. By the way, just going back to DeMar Hamlin for just a moment, it's great to see his status continues to improve, and we at ESPN wishing the best for him and the Hamlin family as well. Always in our thoughts and our prayers. As Holland Shed fouled up her own shot, no. a fight for it as Wynn. And a reach and foul will be called.
Wynn really pulling that board away from all four Vanderbilt Commodores inside the paint there. By the way, the Bills scored on the opening kickoff today against the Patriots. So the Hamlin Island is feeling mighty, mighty good about that.
Wynn's going to go to the free throw line. You saw the number there. Tennessee with 14 offensive rebounds. They put up 50 rebounds in the win against Mississippi State back on Thursday. Half of those were offensive rebounds. That's the type of height and force that this Tennessee team has in the front court.
And to give yourself that many opportunities to score again with the length and the strength that you have inside, you can see why Tennessee is so hard to keep off the glass.
Harbison at the point. It's going to be a foul away from the ball as both teams are in the bonus situation. So Hollingshed takes a seat on the bench, puts Washington to the free throw line. A member of the all-SEC freshman team a season ago. And a reminder, Tuesday night college basketball doubleheader. KJ Williams, LSU going up against Florida at 7 o'clock. And then off to Knoxville, we'll see number 8 Tennessee hosting Vandy. Some great night of hoops action here on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. Feed down low, Stripling. Can't get the finish. There's Jackson with the offensive rebound. How about that? Counted in the foul.
Another great possession from Tennessee. That ball barely hit the floor. A lot of passing. It went inside and out. Then they finished with an offensive rebound. Here it is. Good interior passing. Ball fakes. Simple plays. Jackson timing the rebound so well. And that's where her athleticism really shines, is how quickly she jumps and just snatches the ball right off the glass.
Jackson, an 84% free throw shooter, completes the three-point play. Jackson, who stands fourth in the SEC in scoring at over 17 points per game, as Tennessee has increased their lead. Loose ball in the paint. Stripling comes down with it. Hollingshed, led by double team, does not phase her. How about that for the senior star?
Waited patiently to see what the defense was going to give her. She didn't want to take a bad shot. She was going to pass out of it, but then the double team just dispersed and she went right to the rim. I give my newborn son a patience count when I'm trying to get his bottle ready, right? And so I feel like that was a patience moment, right? Take just a quick 2 count, little beat. Take a breath, see what the defense gives you, and go.
It's funny, my 2-year-old Violet says to me, patience, Daddy, patience.
Oh, she's telling you to be patient.
She's telling me.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right.
A 2-year-old that's acting like more like a 15-year-old as Jackson takes a seat on the bench. Puts Harbison to the free throw line. 16 points on the day. Second all-time leading scorer in St. Louis program history.
You think about a player like Harbison and her next level, you know, where's she going to play? Does she want to play? I think someone like her could have a very successful career in Europe if she wants to go overseas, make a good amount of money. Of course, any roster spot, 140 spots only, 44 spots only in the WNBA, but man, Harbison's got definitely some talent potential there.
Ball out of bounds will stay with Tennessee. I thought Shea Ralph had a great note in terms of Harbison, saying that she came in with the expectations of a certain role, and now because of the injuries, that role has completely changed, where she is the go-to scorer for Vandy.
Nice play. Torsten again, not panicking when she gets in traffic and gets double teams. And yeah, imagine that. Imagine going from, hey, you're going to play a role for us to you're pretty much never going to come out. Are you cool with that?
As Allen drains a three, as Vanderbilt looking for some kind of momentum to take into the fourth quarter. Roster certainly has been depleted because of those key injuries before even the start of the season. Horston to Striplin, and they're going to call a blocking foul against Gerard.
2 high ball screens. Tennessee can use those as Horston at the point guard spot. A little fake spin move. And Strickland just splits the screen. Great read again. Those two work really well together.
Striplin, in our conversations with Kelly Harper, said she was the voice in the paint, but she needs to have a more physical post presence, does the sophomore. As she knocks down 1 of 2, 1 away from tying her career high. Final shot goes down. Harbison beats the clock. And Vanderbilt down by 15 heading into the fourth quarter. We'll step aside, back to Nashville after this. The SEC Network has Georgia covered tomorrow before, during, and after the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Our pregame show starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It'll take you right up to kickoff, and then watch the game here with Scott Howard and Georgia's radio team. Finally, wrap up this unforgettable day with SEC Football Final with all the highlights, interviews, and a complete game breakdown. We've got you covered for the biggest game of the season. And so, Brooke, you know, all these predictions are being made, and quite honestly, you know, I'm looking at Georgia and I'm looking at TCU, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be hearing from Coach Andy Landers at some point, so I think I'm going to have to go with the Georgia Bulldogs here. I think after what they did in that fourth quarter over Ohio State, I don't think there's any stopping Kirby Smart and company.
Well, I would actually, I'm really disappointed you don't have the helmet on, first of all, with the headsets.
I'll put it on right now. Hold on.
Come on, let's go. All right, you're going Georgia. I thought these were to help with some of the dark circles and patches from being a new mom, but apparently they're for football. But however, I do like the name of the Horned Frogs. You got to go. I'm going TCU. You got a cool nickname. You bring in $2.5 billion in media rights since you started becoming good at football. Enrollment is up. How could you not like the nickname of Horned Frogs? It's so weird. I'm a Chanticleer. Nobody knows what that is, so I'm with it. Weird team mascots. Horned Frogs going to take it down.
By the way, if you are wondering at home, yes, the helmet does not fit me with my head, so I unfortunately can't have the Georgia helmet on for the rest of this game.
Frogs over dogs, John. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I
Frogs
can understand the saying picking up a little bit of steam, but I'll tell you, I just think Georgia's got too much firepower. But I've been proven wrong in the past before, so we'll have to see. But no doubt Monday night it's going to be a great matchup between those two programs. Meanwhile, fourth quarter underway. Misfire on the three by Gerard. And Tennessee looking to build upon this 65-48 win, looking to try to go 4-0 in conference play as Powell right through the defense.
You can see Tennessee splitting the zone apart now, and it's going to be difficult for Vandy to play as tough defense as they did first, second, and third quarter to keep that steam up. And trying to score. Yeah, but what you can do now is just worry about execution. This is where you might be physically fatigued, but if you can stay mentally sharp, it's going to improve your team down the line.
Turnover as Powell picks it up. The Minnesota transfer getting some valuable minutes off the bench. As Horston flies in, that one partially blocked. And a foul will be called against Vanderbilt.
Well, Vandy come through with some blocks of their own. Washington has played well today, despite being outsized down there in the post. She's put up so much hustle and a great block there.
That
It's
makes
tough.
it
That
now
is
11 straight games with a block for Washington. As Puckett to the free throw line, a sophomore, part of the all-SEC freshman team. And so Tennessee really has now started to separate themselves from Vanderbilt, up by 21. And a whistle as Coach Shea Ralph and Vanderbilt want to take a timeout. Just 90 seconds into this fourth quarter.
You can see Vanderbilt struggling to get into their offense, trying to use that high ball screen, but Tennessee went over it, just guarded very well. So more teachable moments, of course, Tennessee's side and staff. This is, when you have a lead like this, you don't want to relax. You want to even tighten things up even more when you're a coach. You can look down the bench and get some of your reserves some more minutes, but it is staying disciplined time if you're Tennessee. At 11-6, you've got a tough schedule. Trying to defeat it in SEC play.
Timeout. We'll take one with it. 69-48, Tennessee in front. Bernsey, Steffi, thank you so much. Aaliyah Boston, without doubt, one of the best players, if not the best player in the country right now, the reigning SEC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year. Angel Reese certainly in that conversation for National Player of the Year. I guess the question then becomes, is there anyone that can take down South Carolina? Could it be Tennessee this year?
I love the fact that we're having this conversation, and Debbie Antonelli brought this up the other day. There is so much parity in the women's game now, and we have been just aching to get to this point. Everybody is beatable, and that's what I love about this year. South Carolina, though, is so dominating, especially inside with Aaliyah Boston, and just the fact now that she's become not only a great scorer and rebounder, but a passer. She's thinking next level. And I remember a few years ago talking to Don Staley about, what was that difference with Asia Wilson? When did she really just take off and be that National Player of the Year, that next level? And she said when she started committing to film. And you can really see that in Aaliyah Boston, how intelligent of a player she is and how much she's obviously watching film, because you see everybody down the line at South Carolina and what Don Staley has done and built at that university, that town. It's incredible. There's so much great women's basketball culture in Columbia.
I thought it was interesting, too, in a conversation with Rebecca Lobo. She had made the point that her numbers are down a little bit because there's more of a defensive attention placed on the opponents, and so that's why there's more double and triple teams against Aaliyah Boston.
Yeah, I mean, she gets double, triple, and quadruple teamed, you name it.
Three-pointer up. And that one drops for Vanderbilt, still trying to fight their way through. Here's a team that obviously hindered by injuries at the start of the season, had battled through some tough opponents in SEC play. As Jackson with the turnaround fader, and she's starting to heat up. Rickea Jackson with 16 points, just one away from matching her season average.
Well, for Vandy to shoot 41% from the floor and from behind the three-point line today, says something. They're getting great shots, as you see Coach Ralph down there, still being positive, encouraging her ladies on. Garage having a great day, 16 points on 6 of 12, 4 of 7 from 3.
And seeing if Vanderbilt might have one more run in them. Harbison, though, stripped away. Another great defensive play on the steal by Darby, who has made a number of defensive plays. And Jackson misfires on the three, but chance. And a foul committed by Franklin.
Tess Darby with the sneaky hands of the day. Just ripping shots or dribbles, left and right. Put it in front of her, you make a mistake, she's made you pay.
Meanwhile, Tennessee has had the focal point on Jordan Horston all year. As mentioned, named the Wooden Award midseason top 25 list. But the numbers in terms of what she's been able to do in terms of her vertical jump. How about a 6 inches? That according to the athletic training staff from last season to this year. How about that number?
That is remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable for somebody to put in that amount of work. And kudos to the training staff as well for putting the right exercises together, for her to commit to. 6 inches is crazy. I mean, you're able to guard so many more players being able to jump like that. She's already got the length, and strength as well. So adding that to her game, I mean, if I'm a WNBA scout, I'm taking notes right now and seeing what I can do to get her on my squad. I'm telling you.
Well, she's a top 5 projected pick coming up in the WNBA draft. I guess I want to put you on the spot for a moment, Brooke. Of all the greats that have come through Tennessee, what does her game in terms of an individual player mirror if you're looking at her on the floor right now?
Yeah, you know, I think this is a great question because it was awesome also to hear, you know, Coach Harper's very humble opinion on this. But I said, for me, I see elements of Tamika Catching's game in Jordan Horston. I see it because I see her leadership. I see her unselfish play, how she affects the game in every aspect that she's at. And, you know, to even, you know, put your name in there with one of the greats is, it adds a lot of pressure. And I'm not trying to say that, you know, she is Tamika Catchings, but I do see elements of her game in there.
Great ball movement in the low post as Allen comes out of that timeout with the made basket. I think for a preseason all-SEC first-team member, Jordan Horston, I think the biggest obstacle that she's been able to overcome was that elbow injury last year, her junior year. To be able to come back and put up the type of numbers that she is putting up this year for Tennessee, there's a reason why they were a preseason top 10 team in the country.
So you mess up your elbow and you come back jumping 6 inches higher. That's how you do rehab right there.
Not to mention she grew 6 inches in her freshman year of high school alone.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt either. Rod putting up more shots today.
73-58 as we close upon the midway point of this fourth quarter. Rod with 19 points and an offensive foul goes against Jackson. Third foul that goes against Rickea Jackson.
Take another look at this one. I kind of thought it was inside the, nope, just outside the circle. Great job. Footwork to get over there and help side.
Harbison. And she feeds it in the low post. Washington. Good step work, dribble drive right to the basket. And Vanderbilt finds themselves down by 13.
Yeah, this game is definitely within reach for the Commodores. You know, unless Tennessee gets that killer instinct and really wants to step on their throat and put this game away right now, Commodores are making moves. That could be a charge. Yes, it is.
Jackson now just committed her fourth personal foul on the 13th turnover for Tennessee.
Great read. Washington gets in position. And Jackson lowers that shoulder, puts it right in there. Defensive position is everything when you're looking for that block charge call, and she anticipated it well. Good job by Washington to read that move.
Kind of right now a perfect storm. Tennessee putting some foul trouble in terms of Rickea Jackson with those 4 fouls, and Vanderbilt's knocked down 5 in a row, and including 10 of their last 13. Every possession so valuable at this juncture of the game. Harbison draws contact, will head to the free throw line. And just a reminder as well, we've got a doubleheader in women's action coming for you on Thursday. Should be a great one. We're going to see Angel Reese and number 7 LSU taking on Missouri. And then you've got Texas A&M. We're going to see Rickea Jackson and Tennessee once again in the 9 o'clock hour. Both games on the SEC Network and available on the ESPN app. LSU, one of those 3 remaining undefeated teams behind the double-double machine that is Angel Reese. As Walker checks into the game for Tennessee with Powell going on the bench.
Yeah, how about the start? South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, Mizzou, all 3-0 starts in the SEC.
And how about Ole Miss in particular? Last time they started out 3-0 in SEC play, they went all the way to the Elite 8.
That's the Coach Yo effect. And Angel Baker is a killer. She was putting up in the zone kind of shots the other night against MSU. That was quite a game to call.
He had 27, 20 of which came in the first half against Vanderbilt. Off the inbounds, quickly to Striplin, who converts.
Costly
Carolyn
miscommunication. Yep. See how
Having herself
Striplin's
a
hands are
career
always
day.
just so ready to catch and quick shoot.
13 points on 6 of 9 shooting, and there's Harbison answering on the other end for the Commodores.
She can create so much in that open floor when she uses that high ball screen. Big board from Washington.
Harbison, meanwhile, third straight 20-point game for her, looking for more. Knocks down the three.
We got a game.
And a timeout taken by Tennessee. Vanderbilt, Brooke, on a 12-2 run to cut it to single digits.
Harbison has been carrying it all for the Vanderbilt Commodores, and she's doing it again in this game. Lead the break, the confident shooting three, and that's what you need. You need the firepower right now. You need the belief to get it done if you're Vanderbilt. Hitting 5 of their last 6 shots.
I know, Brooke, it's only a second year for Shea Ralph, but you can really see the embodiment of what she brings to this program. This team is her identity as a player, as a point guard at UConn. You can see that physical toughness, that never say die attitude in a season that's had so many obstacles for the Commodores.
Relentless. You're seeing relentless at work on the floor right now. This is a great basketball game.
And it's something about an in-state rivalry that always brings out the best on both sides. As you look at Harbison's numbers today, 25 points, 9 of 20 shooting, along with 4 assists for the St. Louis transfer. Again, her third 20-point game in a row.
She's put in 35 minutes, Garrod 37 minutes.
Horston, couple of missed shots, but there's Rickea Jackson. And the boards offensively have gone one direction, that is to Tennessee.
And that is going to be the difference right there, right? That was such a big board. You got an offensive rebound by Horston, a shot no good, and then Jackson, the 2 stars, and 2 of the top rebounders probably in this conference athletically, got it done for Tennessee.
The fight for the loose ball, and you're going to see the push that goes against the Lady Vols, stops the clock at 2:40. That's going to go against Striplin, and that'll be the second against the sophomore.
We have Vanderbilt they have stayed calm throughout this game. You haven't seen emotions get too high or too low. And that mentality has saved some energy for them and gotten them to within this point. Striking distance, 10 points, very doable with 2:40 left.
Sasha Washington with her second double-double this season, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Key missed free throws for Washington and Vanderbilt as it stays a 10-point lead for the Lady Vols, who are looking for their 5th straight win and 4-0 in SEC play.
6 of 9 from the free throw line for Vandy. Good pass there in the corner, easy shot.
Darby could not convert on that short jumper. Harbison on the other end gets contact from Horston.
Physical play from Harbison is keeping Vanderbilt in this game as well. I love, she's so compact with her dribbles, so strong, able to go against a bigger defender in Horston, jump into her with the double clutch, and then get contact to get to the free throw line. It takes a lot of skill for an undersized guard to get a clean shot off against a player like Horston, who can easily block it.
By the way, it's been that combination of Harbison and Gerard, who right now have 16 of the 20 points for Vanderbilt in this 4th quarter.
Wow.
So a transfer from St. Louis and a transfer from Boston College have been the pillars right now in terms of offensive production for Vanderbilt, as it's a single-digit lead for Tennessee, 77-69 as we come upon the last 2 minutes. Walker off the mark. Horston, key offensive rebound, leads to second chance points.
The 20th offensive rebound for Tennessee.
They have now had 45 offensive rebounds in their last 2 games.
Woo.
28 second chance points compared to the 7 for Vanderbilt, but they are not going away. The Doors led by Washington with 13 points.
And as quiet as a points day that Jordan Horston has had, she's almost at a triple-double, FYI. A couple of rebounds and assists away.
Jackson playing with those 4 fouls. Just goes right into the basket for the made layup. Gets it back up to a double-digit lead as Jackson, 18 points, surpassing her season average. And there's Darby once again with the defensive effort. Under a minute to go. Horston, no look to Jackson.
Great teamwork there. What a pass. That's where you see those two at their best. Out in transition, can play off each other.
Now a steal the other way, 3-on-1. And Jackson, fouled, will go to the free throw line.
This game got a lot of juice here late, didn't it? These last 5 minutes.
By the way, we also saw some history made on that last assist by Horston, now becoming the 4th Tennessee player with 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 400 assists.
Incredible.
Known by her teammates to be a flow player. May not put up the points every night, but certainly can get you some assists and rebounds.
Yeah. Yes, she is the flow.
Jackson continues to be on a scoring pace. Now 21 points in SEC play. She had 28 against Florida, 22 against Alabama. And here today, she's got 21 against Vanderbilt. Tennessee is going to lock up a 5th straight win, improve to 4-0 in SEC play, but give a lot of credit to Shea Ralph and Vanderbilt. They certainly put up one heck of a fight today.
Yeah, they really did. You should be proud if you're Coach Ralph and the fight your ladies put up. Undermatched, undersized. And Tennessee going to dribble this one out. Just too athletic, too big on the boards. Love to see this sportsmanship happen late in the game. And the rivalry continues. Vanderbilt's on their way up.
And it has gone final in Nashville. Kelly Harper and Tennessee a winner, 84-71. They improved to 12-6, 4-0 in the SEC play. And for Vanderbilt, they dropped to 9-9, 0-4 in the conference. But what a win for Tennessee, who continues to just see their stock rise this season in the SEC, Brooke.
Yeah, just so impressed by the teamwork of Tennessee. 14 assists, the rebounding efforts, 42 boards, and really the great job by so many different players contributing. Striplin, I thought she did a fantastic job. The defense for Tennessee. Tess Darby with a couple of steals. A full team effort today for the Lady Vols.
Tennessee wins. For Brooke Weisbrod and our entire ESPN crew, I'm John Brickley saying so long from Nashville as we send it to the studio Peter Burns and Steffi Sorensen.